You're now.
Good morning, everyone. So good to have you here today. We're going to give a few people to join us, some minutes for other people to join us before we begin. Maybe just let's give people like 10 minutes, 5 minutes to join. We have about 115 people that are registered for this webinar. And we have about 40 that, no, not up to 40, sir, or 20, about 13 that has joined. So we want to give people a bit of more time to join before we start. So good to have you today. Number one is, if you can hear me, I hope everybody's hearing me clearly. If I would like to see you, kindly put a thumb up in the chat box so that I know that you can hear me. If anybody can kindly put a thumb up, thank you very much. That means I'm audible enough. And if you can, kindly introduce yourself, where you are joining from for this webinar in the chat box, so that people can know who is joining us and where you are joining us from. As we wait, we can introduce ourselves to each other in the chat box. I'm waiting to see my chairman. My chairman, can you hear me? Are you there? Because I think I promoted you, but I can't see you as a part of the co-organizers. Hello, my chairman, can you unmute yourself and speak, please? I think I'm seeing.
Oh, Bayo. I don't know why this thing is like this. So. Hello, Bayo, can you hear me?
I think I got lost in between there. Can everybody hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Great. Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. I think without any further ado, maybe we should start. I was looking out for my chairman, the chairman of FCT Tax Practitioner. I think I've allowed you to speak twice. I don't know what's happening. Can you hear me? Can you, if I'm giving you the right to speak? A network or something. Let's start because I don't know why I can't get my chairman to speak. I wanted the chairman of FCT Tax Practitioner to do a bit of introduction before we continue. But I think whenever he can get on, we will allow him to give the introduction. So, good morning, everybody. Today we'll be having a webinar. The webinar is basically looking at e-invoicing and those opportunities that are available for tax practitioners as an accountant generally. Those things that we need to start looking at, educating ourselves on as accountants or tax practitioner, and how we can take advantage of them. And that's what this webinar is all about. So it will be a lot about educating about the e-invoicing, and then also explaining enlightenment about those opportunities that are available for tax practitioners when it comes to e-invoicing. On this call, on this webinar, I'm being joined, I co-hosted with, I'm supposed to have 3 speakers on this. One is the chairman of FCT Tax Practitioner, because this webinar is actually being held in collaboration with FCT Tax Practitioner Association of Nigeria. FCT Tax Practitioner Association is a body of practicing tax consultants, not just people that are certified as tax consultant, or let me say people that have license or qualified as a member of Chartered Institute of Tax Nigeria, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, but the people that are actively practicing as tax practitioner. We came together and we formed the body in FCT. Hopefully the body will become something that becomes across the country. But for now, I know the presence is majorly in FCT. The aim of that association is basically to give us a voice whenever we have relationship with FIRS. And that has also, I think that's also what has snowballed into the omnibus that we have in the new tax law, because it's important that the tax payers and tax practitioner have a formal way of engaging, a unified way of engaging the FIRS or any tax regulatory body, FCT and all that. And that's what the FCT Tax Practitioner is about. We are a body of professionals that usually educate ourselves about the new policies, new frameworks, and new workflows when it comes to tax matters. And this webinar is part of those educational webinar that has been organized by the present ESCO of the FCT Tax Practitioner Association. And we're also being joined by a representative of e-Transact, Dr. CD Onoja is going to be speaking as on this, also on the issue of e-invoicing as we go on. Let me start. So the format that this webinar will take is, first, I give a presentation of what e-invoicing is about and everything around it. And then we give Dr. CD time to speak about how we can leverage on the license of e-Transact as per license partner for FIRS, both as a system integrator and an access point provider. But first, let me start by presenting, telling you why we are here. the plan is to make sure that this webinar does not go beyond an hour. These children will spoil things.
Hey, leave that net, leave that place.
Olga, I think you need to mute your mic. Let me mute you. Who is this? Yes, mute your mic. Thank you very much. See, Dr. Sidi, can you see my screen?
Your screen very well. Your screen is visible. Your screen.
Excellent. So,
yeah.
Let's go into the presentation. So, what are those opportunities that we have as tax practitioners? Now, so let's start. Number one, let's start with some house rules as we start today. Is that you are in listen-only mode. It's not by coincidence, not that your mic is not working. This is a webinar, it's not a meeting, you are in listen-only mode. If you have any questions while this presentation is going on, there is a chat, there's a question and answer chat box where you can actually put your questions. And at the end of the presentation, if your questions are not answered during the presentation, by the end of the presentation, we are going to come to answer those questions one after the other as they appear. Two, we are going to ensure that this webinar actually takes just about 1 hour. The reason that today is a Saturday and I know a lot of people are busy. If you are unable to, maybe anybody that feels that we're moving too fast or whatever it is, at the end of this webinar will become a on demand, meaning that you can rewatch it. You can take also the slides that we're going to be sharing in this webinar, and you can use it as a reference point as we go forward. But as we go on, let me start by introducing myself. So just a second. Let me start by introducing myself. Now, my name is Bayode Agbi. How did I get here? I'm a chartered accountant first and foremost. I'm a tax practitioner, but somehow over the years, I have come to love the intersection between the technology and accounting as a profession. I'm also the principal partner of Agbi Bayode and Co. Now, we have some arms of Agbi Bayode and Co. By the way, Agbi Bayode and Co. is a member of ANTIA. ANTIA is an international association of independent accounting firms where we also use it as a basis of benchmarking our services to clients. Now, in Agbi Bayode and Co., we started out by providing outsourced accounting services to small businesses and medium-scale businesses using cloud solution. And that was where we became interested and we became more known to start to use a lot of accounting technology. We became the biggest Zero partner in Nigeria over the years and became partner to a lot of cloud solutions that you may be using today, e.g. Vent, Shopify, Unleash, Sapat, a lot of sectorial accounting, a lot of sectorial operational solutions that we started to use. And our role and our mission in Pillarcraft is to automate as much as possible the operations of a business rather than just the accounting service of it. And over the years, we have been involved in a lot of things that relate to software development for businesses. In fact, in Pillarcraft and Agbi Bayode & Co., we actually did develop our own accounting software called Usawa. If you have not seen it, you please go and check it. Just type on your Google right now or after this webinar, usawabooks.com, and you can actually use it for 30 days for free, test drive it for 30 days for free. And what drove us there is because that we noticed that it's important that Nigerian businesses have accounting or let me say solutions that are built by Nigerians for Nigerians, especially when it comes to this exchange rate matters that you don't need to pay in dollars for. And because we also noticed that there were no accounting softwares in the market. What we have mostly in the market in Nigeria are software that are basically invoice software or inventory management software. But we decided to go the full log by developing an accounting software. Now, why am I doing this webinar? This webinar is also because we've started to build some other modules, some other parts, products into Usawa. One of them is the Usawa Connect. Usawa Connect is a middleware that is built for the purpose of e-invoicing. And those are the things that I saw. And I said it's important that we have this webinar where we showcase or we enlighten accountants on the opportunities that are available in the invoicing. Because most times when I go to meetings or I sit in meetings with tech people, it almost seems like we feel, and I've read that a lot of times on LinkedIn, where accountants are even making argument that e-invoicing is a tech affair. Yes, it is a tech affair. It is a technology, is an accounting workflow that is actually managed by technologies like fintech. Fintech is financials leveraging on technology. E-invoicing is an invoice that is leveraging on technology. And that's one of the things that we want to showcase here. We want to ensure that accountants see this, they drive the process of businesses using e-invoicing or migrating to invoicing platform is not seen as an alien technology to accountants. So I've trained a lot of people. I've been involved in businesses that are migrating to invoicing, and a lot of the case studies that we have seen of how e-invoicing should work. I'll be mentioning them as we go in this webinar today. So what we'll be talking about today, what is the agenda of today? The agenda is, first, we're going to be introducing what the e-invoicing is all about. We are also going to be looking at understanding everything around the new invoicing framework. And I'll be mentioning the market opportunities for tax practitioners and accountants, and the key opportunities when it comes to advisory and compliance that you can take advantage of. We will be talking what Pillarcraft wants to do in terms of our vision when it comes to e-invoicing. And then we'll be allowing our guest from e-Transfer to speak of the strategic partnership that Pillarcraft has that you can also benefit from as an accounting firm or a tax practitioner. You can leverage with us or directly with e-Transfer to become their partner on deploying the e-invoicing solution for your businesses. And I will explain why I may suggest that to you. There are alternative routes. I will explain why we're suggesting that to you. And then partnership pathways that is available to tax practitioners. You can partner with Pillarcraft also in terms of how you can deploy this e-invoicing to your clients. And then we'll be looking at case studies and practical scenarios of it. At the end of the webinar, we want to encourage some people that are really interested, if you're tech savvy and you feel that you want to leverage on this evolving landscape of e-invoicing, because I don't know if any of you have gone through it. Go to Saudi Arabia, go to Nairobi, Kenya, and see how the accountants are leveraging on this horizon that is just opened up to us. And so if you want to leverage on it, we want to maybe take some people on board to unhold them, to partner with them, and see how, and make sure that they also benefit from this landscape that is about to open. And at the end of this webinar, we'll be taking questions and answers, and then we'll be closing the webinar. So let me start by what this e-invoicing is all about. Number one, let's put a context to it. Now, one of the things that is happening gradually in the world is that the world is becoming a global village. Because the world is becoming a global village, there's a lot of things that tax administration is doing to ensure that people do not evade taxes anywhere in the world. One of the things that is being done is globalization of invoicing, meaning that if I give you an invoice in Nigeria, that invoice should be able to be reported into the financials of the country that is going into.
And one of the things that they are doing is that they are standardizing the templates of invoicing across the world and also validating it by host country tax administration. By our own case, FRS as it's being known now, and in future, the way it's going to be known as Nigerian Revenue Service. Now, what is this supposed to do? The e-invoicing, which started in September 1, and if you are not aware, a lot of what we call large taxpayers have actually migrated into start using the invoicing. They are already live on using the e-invoicing, meaning that they are connected, their solutions, their accounting software, ERPs, or invoicing solution are already connected to the FIRS merchant buyers platform, and they're already exchanging their invoicing solutions, their invoices with the platform. Now, this is a mandatory thing. It's also part of what is in the new tax law. What it is that at the end of the cycle, which is going to be maximum 2 years, every entity that issued invoice is encouraged and will be encouraged to use an electronic invoices system rather than using a paper, biro, manual system, or Excel and all those things. You must have a system that allows connectivity to the merchant buyer solution of the regulatory body in tax administration body in Nigeria, which is FIRS. Now, this is one of those regulations that is, in fact, there is a core regulation that is on it because NIDA, the government agency that is in charge of technology in Nigeria, he is actually the one in charge of giving licenses and pre-qualifying people that are going to get licenses for the invoicing, while FIS itself is managing the people that are within it generally. Now, let me now speak about what are the invoicing and the requirements in Nigeria. Like I said, number one is that this will replace the paper invoices that we've had over the years. And in what will happen is that in terms of structure, invoices are going to also change. In fact, what is going to happen is that most of the accounting software we use or invoice software or the ERP we use in the next 5 years or 2 years, a lot of changes is going to come. We are going to start seeing accounting softwares that will be trading as being e-invoicing compliant. Because like I said, this is not something that is being done just in Nigeria. It's being done across the world. And what are the requirements? That once you issue an invoice, the invoice should have some very mandatory fields. Those mandatory fields are what is going to be exchanged through a system integrator, and I'll be explaining all this as we go on, a system integrator that will now exchange it through an access point to the merchant buyer platform. Now, how will this work? There are some mandatory things that we need to understand. Every taxpayer needs to make sure that one, it uses a e-invoicing. Either you are doing B2B or you are doing B2C, or you are doing B2 government. Your transactions must be done through electronic invoices, which means that mandatorily you must have a TIN number. And one of the things that is going to become very important as we go forward is confirming or validating the TIN numbers of whatever we are dealing with. That is, as a buyer or a seller, there will be platforms that will allow us to validate as we are onboarding either the supplier or the buyer to us to validate their TIN numbers to be sure that whatever we're buying from them or they are selling to us, they are actually registered within the framework of the tax management. Now, you must also ensure that whatever accounting software you are using can generate invoices that are universal business language kind of invoices. They must be compliant with that. And there are some few that FRS is placing emphasis on. One is the invoice date, the invoice number, the details of the customer, the item details, and the HSN code. Now, what is the HSN code? Now, when we are doing VAT, especially now that we have been formatted our VAT regulatory framework, now we have some of the things that were zero rated before are now tax exempted, and there are things that were tax exempted and now zero rated. What the SNL code does is that if it's properly applied in your accounting system or your ERP, when you want to set up an inventory or an item and you pick the SNA code, it will automatically ensure that it is classified appropriately into its VAT classification. And then whatever solution you are also having must be able to transmit its fields through the license apps that are being done through FIS. And one of the things that is also important as we go on along is that there will be need for you to maintain logs of an audit trace of the invoices that were sent and were validated. And I'll be explaining the models that are available at the moment in the market, because as we are all aware, a lot of us are already using legacy softwares. Maybe you are using Sage, you are using QuickBooks, you are using SAPs, you are using Xero. Some of these legacy softwares are not in any way compliant, so to say, with this new e-invoicing. But there is a model that are available now while we await a lot of people that are building the new solutions that have the new e-invoicing features with it. For example, in Pillarcraft, we're already building the version 2 of Usawa. The idea for the version 2 of Usawa is that it has embedded inside it the e-invoicing feature that allows you, rather than connecting to a middleware from Usawa, you can connect directly and issue and send out your invoice to FIRS for validation. Now, there are needs for encryption and all that, so you need to be able to identify those mandatory things that the FIRS needs. Now, what are the structure of the ecosystem of invoicing? Invoicing, it actually has a lot of participants or players within it. All are licensed by FIRS to perform different roles. Now, FIRS is the owner of what we can call the e-invoicing platform, the merchant buyers platform, where all invoices generated by all businesses that are registered in Nigeria will be validated on. Now, they also gave licenses to what we can call access point provider. Now, the reason for that is that the access point provider are supposed to be large organizations. Now, their role is basically to take up most of these invoices that will be coming from a lot of businesses, either small, medium, big businesses, validate it and send the validated invoices to FIRS to house, while they also return back to the companies on the database of the companies or the accounting softwares, whatever is being validated, through the system integrators. Now, the system integrators are basically the people or businesses that act as intermediary between business solutions, end users, and the access point provider. Now, what are these? These are usually either solutions, though licensed as businesses, that allows you to connect your ERPs, accounting software to FIRS. Now, let me say to you, now if you go into your Tax Pro Max at the moment, you will notice that there is a button now that is there that says enable e-invoicing. Because what FIRS is actually doing is that they are also suggesting that businesses can actually set up and become a system integrator themselves, meaning that they can directly connect to an access point provider and share their data if they have a system in place that's able to do that. Now, for big businesses, banks, and let me say big manufacturing construction company, it is easy for them to actually build. They may be able to build. They will be able, not that they will be able to build a middleware. And what they only need to now do is to connect that middleware to an access point provider and share the details of those invoices with FRS. However, if you are unable to build, you can actually connect to a system integrator already licensed by FRS. Based on that, you can now transmit your invoices through those system integrators, and then you can basically complete your transactions. Now, what is happening in the market is that a lot of system integrators are also building what we can call middleware. Those middleware basically are able to pull transactions from your invoicing platform, either an accounting software or ERP or an invoice solution that brings them into the middleware and able to now transmit directly to FRS. To access point provider, from where it goes to the FRS. Now, so basically there are 4 people that are involved: the end user. Now, the end user can also be a system integrator. Basically, that's what I'm explaining. The end user can also be a system integrator, but if the end user cannot be a system integrator, it needs to have a system integrator. The system integrator now connects to the access point provider, who now connects to the FIRS or LNRS National e-Invoicing platform. So let me walk, I've explained, but let me just give a walkthrough how it works normally, again, to explain to accountant how this will play in as we go on. So let's take a company, BioDay Agri & Co. BioDay Agri & Co. uses Xero as an accounting software. How will this work when it comes to e-invoicing? So the first thing is that BioDay Agri will go into the Xero accounting software and raises an invoice. That invoice will have 2 elements: the cost, whatever services that we're offering, and then the VAT element of it. Now, having raised that invoice, in the old order, means that invoice, I can basically just send it to the client, and our relationship is at the end of the month, I reconcile or announce to FIRS that this is the invoice I issued in the month, and based on this invoice, these are the taxes VAT I've collected, because also we do what we call cash accounting when it comes to VAT in Nigeria. And based on the taxes, the invoices that I've issued, these are the invoices that have been paid, and based on those payments, this is the amount that I need to pay to FIRS in terms of VAT that are collected in the month. However, in the new order, once I issue the invoice in the accounting software or SAP or ERP solution that I'm using or e-invoicing software, it is supposed to be transmitted to Nigerian Revenue Service. Now, how do you transmit it? It is either you do the translation by yourself, by using a technology that you built yourself, or you transmit through a middleware. Those middleware, what they will do is to take the details of this invoice from your accounting software, the date, the beneficiary, the TIN number of that beneficiary, the amount that is for the contract being done, the VAT amount, and then transmit it through the access point provider to FRS. Once it is transmitted, there is a return part for that invoice validation to happen. Once it's transmitted, it is given a unique identifier at the end of FRS through the access point provider. It comes back through that route again. In fact, if it needs to have append on it a QR code, it comes with all those validation keys that now returns into the middleware. And if your accounting software is robust enough, it can actually pass through and validate it there. However, if it's not robust enough, it can stay within the middleware, and within that middleware, it can keep record of the invoices that have been validated by FRS, and then there's a need for reconciliation between the invoices validated by the FRS and the invoices in your accounting software. because these are all those things that are creating opportunities for accountants as we go on. Now, before I start to explain some of these other things, it's important that I mention one of the things that is confusing people at the moment is the difference between e-invoicing and fiscalization. Now, they are trying to achieve the same thing. However, the workflow for both of them are different. E-invoicing is usually is done where invoices are done and then shared. It can be, in fact, the way FRS is looking at it, and the way I'm saying it, is that you can actually batch and send invoices maybe at the end of the day, to validate it basically. But fiscalization is for those entities or sectors that there should be an instant validation of sales transaction. And this we are going to see more when we talk of people that are in restaurants, that are in lounge and bars, hotels, people that are doing B2C, basically, that are doing transactions that instantly there's need for the validation of those transactions, people that are into retail. And so if you remember, if you go back in time, FRS has actually tried this in the past. At a point, if you went through to buy from ShopRite in Nigeria, they'll give you an invoice that had a QR code, a receipt that had a QR code at the bottom of it, telling that this invoice has been validated by FRS. Those are the kind of things that will happen. Now, you know, there was a test run that time using ShopRite and them. Now it's going to be across all the sectors. So meaning that if you are in retail, you are in restaurant, you are in bar, those hotels, you'll be going through what we call fiscalization, while the people that are into services or business to selling B2B, business to business, may be going through what we call the e-invoicing scheme. Both of them are to achieve the same objective, though different workflows. Now, what are the opportunities that are now available for tax practitioners or accountants in this new workflow? Number one is that there is this thing that has come up, and we in Pillarcraft, we've started to provide that service to a lot of businesses, which is doing the gap analysis of businesses. What is the kind of ERP or accounting software that they have? How are they compliant into the VAT administration? And how can this fit into the new e-invoicing platforms that are available and the SNA code and all that? Basically doing a gap analysis for businesses. That's number one. Number two, you can act as an intermediary between the ERPs, or because as we go on in Nigeria, there's going to be a lot of system integrator. Everybody's saying that they can do XYZ when it comes to integration. So it's also important that an accountant or a tax practitioner become knowledgeable about what we have in the market and what fits your particular client. Because I've always maintained that, you know, accounting is very sectorized. It's very it's very not professional. I want to, my word just missed me now. It's very specialized, meaning that if you are operating in retail for a long time, you understand what the retail people need and how the technology in the market will fit to them. If you are operating in real estate, you know the kind of solutions that are available in the market that fit the people that are into real estate. And those are the kind of things that are becoming very, this new horizon that accountant and tax practitioner needs to get involved into by being able to sit in meetings on behalf of their client to help them to review offerings and values that various system integrators are offering, and even sometimes advising them what is best for them. Should they even build a middleware themselves, or should they even integrate to any other middleware? And then there's a lot of reporting matter that will now be coming up. Like I just mentioned to you, there's a need for integrations, and because there's a need for integrations and all that, there's a new need for reconciliation between maybe the legacy software and the validated software for e-invoicing. So sometimes some of the businesses may want to house these services internally. Sometimes they can't even afford to house these services internally, meaning that there's another services that becomes available, providing retainership and providing outsourced services to businesses, helping them do multi reconciliations in terms of VAT that has been validated, VAT that have errors, what are the causes of those errors, and all that. So as an accountant, you are able to establish new set of revenue streams for yourself, like invoicing gap analysis, data mapping services, invoice implementation advisory, which we have done a lot since the invoicing came on board, compliance, retainers, certification, you even help in terms of audit trail, and even doing the ERP configuration for that. Because again, even the legacy system, without even the invoicing, there's a lot of businesses that has not reformatted or reconfigured their legacy system to suit the new tax VAT regime that was sending. So if you had set up your solutions to have some items to be VAT exempted and some of them to be zero VAT, as we go to January 2026, there's a need for accountants that have understanding of this technology and this solution to be able to help businesses review some of these things, to look at their solutions, even the legacy system, even before we start talking of the e-invoicing system, how are they configured so that they do not report wrongly VAT under the wrong categories. Now, so why do I think this is a billion-naira opportunities for accountants? Number one, you need to understand that there are about 3.8 million active taxpayers on FIRS platform. They must be migrated to e-invoicing, meaning at least you have that market. And that's what I'm talking of, the ones on the platform. As we proceed with the new tax law and all the things that we're doing to bring people into the tax net, there will be a lot of new businesses that will be that were under the radar before, that mandatorily will come onto the tax net, and meaning that the figures of the active taxpayers will be more. We're estimating, because at the moment, based on what Spidan has said, there are about 14 million businesses in Nigeria. It means that minimum, we are going to be having at least 10 million businesses that will need the service of accountants, tax practitioners to help them navigate into this new thing. So there will be need for this integrator, access points. We are also pursuing our license as a system integrator in Pillarcraft. There will be ERP vendors, because most of the ERP guys do not, tax guys, and should I say tech people that are doing this. Some of them are not really expert. They are not experts in tax matters. There will be a lot of need for tax practitioners to help them to fill in the gap. Like I just said to you, ordinary configuring VAT for businesses is something that most of our tech brothers may not be knowledgeable about, because this is not their own field, right? And there are a lot of large organizations may actually start needing accountants not to come in at the end of the year, not to come in at the end of maybe half a year, maybe quarterly, even monthly, to review their transactions, to make sure that reconciliation is done. Because like I said, at the moment, most of these resources or knowledge is still very fresh. A lot of people, most of the businesses don't have in-house resources that will understand them. You know, the skill set is still very not everywhere. So if you have this skill set, you're already on a good pedestal to start making good revenue stream aside from whatever you are providing as tech services. And it's also a service that I can call it a value-added service that you can easily push to businesses to do. What are we doing in Pillarcraft? Now, one of the things we are doing in Pillarcraft that we are also building, we built, and we are going through the process of licensing, we built an e-invoicing middleware solution that integrate with our own Usawa books. The plan is also to integrate with POS and other apps directly with FRS. One of the things we've also started doing into is that we're building an API gateway into it also that will allow other solutions, a marketplace that other solutions we easily integrate into our Usawa Connect middleware and to act as a validation machine for a lot of the solutions that is out there in the market. Before I speak about the partnership model that we're building into this entire thing, I'd like to invite Dr. Sidi to introduce e-Transact and what e-Transact is doing when it comes to invoicing in Nigeria at the moment. Dr. Sidi, are you there?
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Sidi Onaja. I work for e-Transact and I lead the FGN Partnerships Department. Now, for us as e-Transact, our core business is providing payment gateways for businesses, government agencies to receive and transfer monies. All right, we've been in the business since 2003. We launched the e-Transact switch in 2003 in Nigeria. We introduced the integrated payment gateway to Nigeria in 2008. And we expanded to Ghana, Kenya, and 7 other locations in the world. In 2019, we reached the 10 million per month transaction band. So across the payment digital finance ecosystem, we have supported businesses in Nigeria to process money. So as a switch, our infrastructure powers all, if not all, a greater percentage of the fund transfer operations that you see in commercial banking, in microfinance banking. We're a licensed international money transfer organization, and then we terminate remittances to 34 locations in Africa. And by God's grace, e-Transact is the only payment switching company that is quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And to bring the conversation home, we're happy to leverage our partnership with Pillarcraft to expand tax compliance through, a registered tax practitioners network like yours. And the conversation is pretty straightforward. We are licensed as access point provider by the FRS. We are also licensed as system integrator. And upon these licenses, we have built a middleware. All right. We have also built a tailored, a custom-made solution in-house that we call Credo that has been certified fit to drive e-invoicing compliance for MSMEs. And that is a critical component of the conversation that we're having. Away from just invoicing, it has a payout function that enables MSMEs also do remittances directly to the FRS once the invoices are certified. So for us, we're in the era where technological advancement has migrated accountants and tax practitioners to integrated consultants who should be better placed to advise the people that provide services to on how best to approach digital transformation and drive compliance. And for us, we feel the starting point for collaboration for mutual value should be leveraging on your understanding of the professional tax practice, riding on the licenses that we have, and then our market knowledge and technology, to ensure that there are mutual gains. And that was why we got into this strategic collaboration with the team at Pillarcraft to position for compliance. Away from this local partnerships, we're also expanding our reach to getting certain hardware that should advance payment that you advance compliance to e-invoicing, and you would be the first set of beneficiaries of this innovation. So we're happy, to continue to advance this conversation with you, leveraging our partnership with Pillarcraft. I'm excited, to also tell you that we're coming together with we're putting in place a tax practitioners workshop that is expected to happen in January 2025, 26 in partnership with the FIRS. And the CEO of Pillarcraft will provide the right information to the FCT Tax Practitioners Council, so we can continue to collaborate, first of all, to educate the market and drive compliance. Thank you very much. And then we're happy to be here. Thank you, Bayo. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for finding the time to slot us into this conversation. And then we're ready to advance collaboration in this line.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sidi, for that overview of e-Transact and what they are doing at the moment. One of the takeaways I want tax practitioners to take home as part of your conversation with your client is the fact that e-Transact also doubles as a payment gateway. And meaning that while they are doing things when it comes to e-invoicing, like I said, e-invoicing is basically invoices on electronic formats. You are also the platform that they have, which is Cradle, allows payment link to be attached to e-invoicing in such a way that when invoices are sent out, payment can actually be collected directly via those invoices, which is something that is also a game changer that we are also looking at in Pillarcraft in Usawa to see how we can put that technology into our invoicing in Usawa version 2. So thank you very much, Dr. Sidi. As we go along, how are we also partnering with the models that we have with tax practitioners? Number one is that we know Pillarcraft can't be doing all the advisory for everybody. What we can do is to be your soundboard whenever you have the need to talk to any client, or a client is talking to you and you are, instead of sounding as if I don't know or it's a tech matter, you can actually reach out to us and we can explain what you need to do for the client regarding how they can go about it. So we can be your advisory partner. If you want to be with that, have that relationship with us, we can be your advisory partner. If you want to migrate any businesses into there, we can be your silent advisory partner. You will be the face talking to your clients and having all the conversation with them while we are your advisor. So we are your advisor, or let me say the trainer kind of thing. And I assure you that once you do, you're able to complete one integration from beginning to the end. You will be better placed whenever those conversations comes up. You already know how to do the gap analysis and all that. Now, there are some of the business accounting firm tax practitioners that don't even want to go or feel that all this tech talk, API, asking some API questions are above their head. We can actually, you can refer the client to us and we agree on how we can do revenue sharing when it comes to referral. And we can also go into joint relationship with you when it comes to training your clients and all that. Part of what we're also putting in place, we are already in discussion with FCT tax practitioners, is also a kind of training and certification, basically to walk you through those things that you need to do, provide templates that we have used and we are still using in terms of how to perform gap analysis, how to write the report, your observation report, how to do recommendations to clients, and then you can use that as a basis of learning. And then we can also be a retainer fulfillment partner where you outsource it to us generally, and we help you to continue to support your clients. Like I said, if it's not something that you want to get involved into. So basically, what can you offer your client immediately? This one is on the table for you to offer your client. Don't allow somebody in a tech brother to just come and offer your client. You can even offer these services pro bono to your clients is that you can start by offering an assessment, e-invoicing readiness assessment to your clients. That one, you are doing a gap analysis, reviewing the kind of a system that they have, reviewing the requirement of e-invoicing and how the two systems can come together and what are those things that they need. It's possible they are in talks with a tech brother or a tech firm and all that. You can become an advisory, an e-invoice implementation advisor. Your role is to ensure that the technology that is being brought on board fits what you, because again, because this thing is new, a lot of businesses are being onboarded wrongly. I don't want to sound this because I've had to repair or use the word repair some of the implementation that we've done, because just let me just explain this as simple as possible. One of the things that messes up accounting software setup is sometimes basic things as little as chart of account and VAT classification. Now, the people setting it up, if they are tech companies, it is not their fault. They are not trained as an accountant. They are not trained as a tax practitioner. So they may not be able to even know or differentiate what should be VATable and what not to be VATable. Now that we won't have things that are zero rated VAT, things that are VAT exempted, things that are no VAT, and things that are VATable. So all these classifications can be confusing. For example, there was a time that a company came to us that somebody had helped them, a tech company had helped them to set up zero. And what we noticed was that the tech company had applied VAT on even overhead transactions. That means whenever they buy fuel, whenever they do recharge card, as far as this transaction was eating their accounting system, a VAT was computed because the tech company may not have known how these are done. So what I'm saying is that gap of being an implementation advisory is open to you. Now, depending on where you are in the market, you may even offer this as a value-adding service to your clients, so that you are not in any way removed from the entire discussion. But if you are strong enough, you can offer it as a service that must be paid for, especially when people are coming to you a lot. And then you can start offering continuous monitoring service, retainership services to your businesses immediately. And how do we support you? We can share with you our technology infrastructure, Usawa Works, Usawa Connect. We can get you in contact with eTransact. We can share with you some of the documentations that we have developed when it comes to e-invoicing, SOPs, how you can do the audit trail templating and all that, the schema validating templates that you need to confirm with. And then we will, like I said, we are looking at training a lot of businesses, tax practitioners, as we go on, giving them free monthly updates of issues that are happening, and then helping in terms of back-end integrations and support. Let's just do a bit of case study of how this scenario usually should pan out as we go forward. Now, let's say you have a company, a manufacturing company, using Sage, using QuickBooks or Xero. What do they require when it comes to this new e-invoicing? And who are those to manage that? Number one is that they may need an ERP API view, meaning you need to find the documentation for the ERP, the API, and check what are those requirements that needs to be done. That can be done by you, by yourself. We can even show you how you can even use technologies of even ChatGPT to do some of these things without really giving yourself a lot of headache. But like I've always said, while ChatGPT is a good help, it also may say some things that may totally be wrong. So if you don't have the basic knowledge of what it's saying, because really when the things are very technical, so that you don't send reports that is really nonsense, by using the word, being sent, it may just be out of context. Maybe the way you prompted ChatGPT, the way you wrote your prompts may not give you the best of the result. And you can do things like, you need to do things for like VAT recalibration for this company, this manufacturing company. You need to do the SNN, the mapping for them. And then when it comes to the API integration, you may bring a tech bro that can help you build the middleware or integrate as the case may be. And then you can continue to do the two-way invoice validation as we go on. You can see one is that you are, as a tax practitioner, you are involved in the advisory. Pillarcraft can come with you in the areas of integration, security, and testing. And then you can ask the access point provider in terms of the data transmission. And what is the likely things around this at the moment? Now, please note that this is a guide. We see our values differently. I'm just saying what is possible at the moment from what I'm seeing in the market and from what I've been involved with. For implementation advice, depending on how big your client is, you can charge from 500 to 10 million naira, depending on how big your client is. Like I said, for readiness assessment, you can charge from 300,000 to 5 million, even more than that. Because, for example, a client that is doing 5 billion naira turnover in a month, I'm sure charging them 5 million, if you're able to prove your value, may not be a big issue. Some of them are willing to put you on retainership, a reconciliation retainership of between 150 to 1.5 million naira. You can also help to do one-off services of compliance to NDPA and HNN, this thing. That's one-off services that can just be done for, say, 100K, 500K, depending on, like I said, where you are in the market and how you are playing. We are trying to make sure that we have over the time, so I'm trying to rush to ensure that we quickly round up. So at the end of this webinar, you'll be directed to a platform, a landing page, where if you are interested to join partnership with Pillarcraft, we can actually sign up, and from there, we take it up from there. We are building a certification course, and then you can get certified. We're going to be working in conjunction with the FCT tax practitioner and e-Transact, so that we bring a lot of value to business tax practitioners that either joins us. Now, so as we conclude this presentation, e-invoicing is not just a regulation. To me, it's a new service line for forward-thinking tax practitioners. Thank you very much for listening to us. I would like to see if there are questions at the moment that has been shared, and then we can, based on that, be answering them. Before I go on, Chairman, are you there? My Chairman, can you hear me? You're supposed to give a welcome address to this. You're supposed to declare this open. Chairman, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Thank you very much, our friend and brother, for this eye-opening presentation. We are grateful to you. The chairman will respond shortly, but this is the vice chairman. I was supposed to come in during the opening session. So we want to say thank you very much. We'll wait for the chairman to respond, after which we'll allow the participants to ask questions. Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, please.
I can't seem to see the chairman.
Okay, if the chairman is not there, please, with your kind permission, I would like participants to ask their questions.
Yes, before we, so this will happen. I can see some hands raised. Some people have raised their hand. I can see Kennedy, Lucky, and Muradeyo. I believe is to answer question. If you know you are not planning to ask question, kindly lower your hands. I will give you, I will allow you to speak. So first to speak is Kennedy. Kindly unmute yourself and then ask your question. You can kindly unmute yourself. Is this our?
Please, let us be fast. If you have question, please quickly ask your question. Mr. Kennedy, please, you have the floor. You can ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I knew it was my IPP that is this.
My name is Dr. Kennedy Wundu, former chairman of the Tax Practitioners Association. Thank you, my brother, for this wonderful presentation. My question is this: can you explain the dynamics of e-invoicing when it comes to international transaction? You know, we have exporters and importers in Nigeria. How will this play out in their transactions for those who are exporting things out of the country and for those who are importing things into the country? Bearing into consideration that for importers, some of the customers abroad who are bringing goods into the country, invoices exchanging hands. And some of them will also send invoice to Nigerian businessmen who will now, based on those invoices, pay money for the goods. So I just wanted to throw a light on the dynamics of invoicing in international transaction, especially with export and import of goods and services into the country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my IPP. When I saw your name, I was suspecting that it must be my IPP. Thank you for your question. Now, when I started the presentation, one of the things I mentioned is that one of the reasons why e-invoicing is being implemented in Nigeria and all over the world is because that we are forming a global community where exchange of invoices becomes seamless across border and across clients. Now, while Nigeria is a country, there is a body called PEPAL, which is supposed to be international framework that allows inter-border exchange of invoices. So there are system integrators in Nigeria that when you use, they can be able to allow your invoice to be exchanged. As you go forward now, so once your invoice is exchanged to Nigerian Revenue Services, that invoice becomes it enters a global network of database for invoices, and you're able to share invoices across the world. So as we go on, that is the new reality, that as far as you are a registered taxpayer in your country. So let's give it a case so that it's clearer. If you are resident in Nigeria, you are registered with FIRS, but you are importing from China. The person you are importing from is also registered with the Chinese tax authority, whatever it is. And then there are joint collaboration between these two bodies, Nigerian Revenue Services and the Tax Revenue Services, or whatever they call the counterparty in China. Whenever invoices are raised, it's going to go through the model in China, and it's going to get to the point where at the end of the day, the Chinese government or the revenue service in China and the revenue service in Nigeria are able to exchange the data, because there will not be two invoices alike in the world. All invoices will have a unique identifier across. Thank you very much for that question. So it's a purely a real life question. The next person that has a question there is Lucky. I'm going to allow you to speak. Okay, I think you have lowered your hands. And then I can see, I think this is my chairman that is here. My chairman, please, can you speak? I've allowed you to talk.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir. Yes, I can hear you very well, sir.
Morning, sir. Thank you very much. I've been listening to you from, we actually discussed before the something started. So I've been listening to you. I've been around since. It's just that I think because I was not on the path for you for me to make my opening speech. I haven't chatted you up. That I could not get through. Thank you very much, Mr. Bayode. Thank you, Dr. Sidi, for the enlightenment, and thank you for all you've done. First and first, so many people, apologies to those who could join, but the audio was not coming out for them to listen. And also so many people chatted me that they could not join too, because I don't know why. We tried to resolve it from the back end here, but I don't know. So we are very sorry for that. Now, Professor Ewundu came from the importer and exporter side. Now, look at it. We are in a country where I could say 30 to 50% of transaction invoices or receipts are not given. You are buying things from even some shops that they have, what's it called? They have receipts, but we buy from them. We don't even take it. We just collect our papers, we collect our books, we collect whatever we want to buy, and we walk away. Now, these guys in Wuse Market, in the smaller shops, how are they going to get themselves into this platform for their receipt or whatever they're going to give to be recognized? Because on a very good day, they are not there. They are not interested or anything. So how do we get them into this platform for us to get that done? And that is one. Two, you talked about the integration and all these things, how we can come in, how we can go. You also said there's a boot camp, if I'm not mistaken, for the training. We've discussed this before and everything. So we would like to also see, we'll talk this behind the scenes so we can push it to the tax practitioner WhatsApp group for people to actually know what it takes and when is it starting and how they can benefit from it. If it's going to be free, if they're going to be paid for. So all these things will be made clear. Thank you very much, Mr. Bayode. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your question, my chairman. Let me take the answers one after the other. Number one is that this webinar is not for us to review how things will be done, but let me explain this. When I started, I mentioned that there's a difference between fiscalization and e-invoicing. Fiscalization actually relates more to the people that are in retail and are doing business to customer directly. So we say market people and all those things. The question is, how would they be integrated? Now, the new tax law, it is a vision, and there's a lot of things that will unfold as we go on. One of the new tax law vision is that everybody becomes to start to use electronic payment gateways and electronic tools. And if you notice, a lot of the small businesses even are already migrating away from cash society. You can now do transfer, you can use money point, you can use all those ones. One of the things I've also started to notice is that FR is already having collaborations with these payment gateways to find a way to make sure that once transaction is completed, there is a VAT element that is deducted. But that is a future conversation. At the moment, e-invoicing relates more to business transaction. If you are dealing like an accounting firm dealing with another company, a manufacturing company dealing with the wholesaler, that is what the e-invoicing is relating to at the moment. By the time we get to the lower level, which I don't know if they are going to push it as far as people in the open market, but they are going to push it around businesses that are doing VAT relating to anybody registered in FIRS and are doing VAT matters, registered as VAT person. That agenda will be pushed. Let me also apologize for the audio. We had tried to make sure that the audio is as clear as possible, but somehow during yesterday, my mic just went bust. I don't know what happened to it. When I was trying to use it this morning, I noticed that the audio was not just coming out as I could. So I'm actually using the audio of my system. So I will apologize for everybody that couldn't hear us as clear as possible. What I can assure is that this webinar will be on demand immediately afterwards. We will look at how we can work on the audio post-production. Make sure it is clearer, it is sharper, it is louder before it is posted into the on-demand platform. And then thirdly, like Chairman, you said, when we are done with this thing, we'll go back behind the scene and discuss more how we are going to be doing the boot camp, the modality is going to go, and how it's going to be managed. Definitely we'll do that. Thank you very much for your question. We should be rounding up. I think if you guys don't mind, let me just take one more question, because I see somebody, Olubusayo Gideon. Can you, I've allowed you to speak. Can you unmute your mic and please speak?
Very well.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Bayo, for that wonderful delivery. Very, very nice one and insightful. And also thank you to your participant there. Now, my question is a very simple question. Simple, but we just want a kind of a direct answer to it, either yes or no. In view of this e-invoicing matter going on now, we are all aware about of it already. And what we have noticed in the market, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is the fact that a lot of businesses, SME businesses, they don't even have an accounting system. No software to run the accounting, whatever. They are just doing their businesses like that. So my question is this: with this new invoicing system, does it mean that all businesses or any business who want to key into this must have an accounting system or an accounting software in place for them to be able to key into this invoicing? So it's a yes or no answer, so that we know how to guide our clients and also move on with it. Thank you very much.
It's a yes. If you go into the new law, if you go into the new, I may not be able to quote it verbatim now. The new law has made it compulsory for every business to have a system, an accounting system, right? So it is now almost like a mandate. Then with the new e-invoicing matter and fiscalization, it's also made it mandatory for everybody to have an electronic way of exchanging data. Now, that is the law. The reality is different, and how this will pan out in the next 1, 2 to 5 years will be different. For example, the law is that everybody in Nigeria should have a NIN number, that is national identity number. Does everybody have it at the moment? No. Are there processes being done to make sure everybody has it? Yes. Is it enough? That's now we may need to judge it. But it's a policy direction. The essence of the new tax law is to define a direction that we want to go to. And that is what FRS has given us, or let me say, the administration are giving us to say, this is the direction we want to go to. But yes, it's not, we are not going to arrive there immediately. We are going to arrive there in phases. I mean, I can say to you clearly, a lot of people that did not have TIN numbers, since the new tax law has been promulgated and they've been aware that they need to have a TIN number before January 1, 2026, I can say to you that a lot of people have registered their companies for TIN. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Yes.
That is because the direction is there. Do you understand? So even though at the moment that we may say that a lot of businesses don't have an accounting system, they don't have this, the law says you have it, we may not achieve the objective, or let me say the KPI may be low in January or even 2026 throughout, But as we gradually go in, especially when the benefits are being seen, a lot of people will be. And that's why I always advise accountants, tax practitioners to encourage as many as you can, encourage businesses that are working with to use accounting or electronic systems. Either they're using an e-invoicing system, if they don't even need to use an ERP system, the minimum they should be able to use now is an invoice solution. If they can, they should use an accounting software, and if they are big enough, they should use that.
I'm going for RV with them.
You with them. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So I hope I was able to answer that question.
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that question. There's some questions that are in the question and answer. Some of them have been answered while we're talking. Yes, I can see what's the difference between access point provider and system integrator. It was actually answered during the session. Some people are saying they are interested in collaboration. Reach out after the webinar. We'll take it up from there, either directly to me, FCT Tax Practitioner Association. It will come also to us, and then we'll discuss more. Like we said, we are still working on modalities of the bootcamp. We want to ensure that everybody is carrying. It will not be virtual. It will not be physical, so that if you, wherever you are in Nigeria, Abuja, Lagos, wherever, you're able to partake in the classes. The whole lessons of the classes to also be more practical when it comes to e-invoicing and show you how these things can be done. Yes, I can see a question saying now with invoicing mandate being enforced in high-risk sector where cash payment and invoice suppression are common. And like I said, these are things that we are going to go through as we engage when it comes to implementation. The entire tax law that we have been done, that has been done starting in January, we're going to be seeing a lot of things that will happen, that maybe changes will be, clarification will be given by FIRS. For example, the chairman has been clarifying now between that was an error of editing. That's why we have 50 million and 100 million somewhere when it comes to small businesses. So there will be a lot of things that will happen as we implement. In fact, one of the things I'm actively looking forward to how I'm going to be implementing it is the rent. The rent matter regarding before you get to claim your rent relief, you must have paid your rent and all that. How will validation be done and all that? So, like I said, there'll be a lot of things that would be going as learning as we're learning. It's a learning curve, but we are, I'm sure the country is poised to do just that. Thank you, everybody. I can see a lot of hands up, but we can't take any more. Maybe we'll take one. I can see a lady, so there's not a men's affair before we round up. I can see Uchenna Valentin. I believe that is a lady, a woman. I want to allow Uchenna to speak.
Bayo.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bayo.
Yes, sir.
Please, can you just take like three? Just take like three, so that if they could ask their questions sharply and we answer sharply too, we can just do like three. Thank you.
Uchenna Valentin, I believe is Uchenna sounds like a beautiful woman's name. Sorry if it's a man. Can you can now speak? Can you ask your question, Uchenna? Are you there? Uchenna is not talking. Okay, there's an Henry. Okay, Henry has lowered his hand. I can see Bayo Fashola. But you're just joining 12 minutes ago. I hope your question, Bayo Fashola, can you hear me? You can unmute yourself and speak. Uchenna, if you are ready, you can speak. Bayo Fashola, are you there? Okay, I'm disabled Bayo. There's Okoronkwo. I'm going to allow Okoronkwo to speak. Okoronkwo, can you hear me? Okoronkwo, can you unmute yourself and speak? Okay. I think they just raised up their hand. They are not speaking. So that we don't also we've done 1 hour 26 minutes on this webinar. We started 10 o'clock and the time now is 11:26. I want us to end it. If there's any other question, you can address it as emails or contacts, and then they can be addressed. Any vice chairman you want to give, or chairman you want to give a closing remark, or vice chairman, so that we can end today's webinar.
Thank you very much, our brother and our friend. I can tell you that this has been an eye-opening session for us, and so detailed. So we are so grateful to you. We thank you so much. We hope that you will still make our time to give us further insights into this. You agree with me that a lot needs to be still need to be discussed. So we hope that when next we call you, you will come around and will grant us that audience again, please. Thank you so much. I am grateful to you, and on behalf of the ESCO, we say thank you. Mr. Chairman is here. He will now formally close this session. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vice Chair, Mr. Edwin, Mr. Bayode, and Intransact. We thank you for this collaboration, and we're looking forward to the blessings of the whole thing to come upon our lives and our businesses. Like I said earlier on, we'll still talk behind the scene and see how we can make the boot camp happen, and also whatever that is needed for us to move. Because I know 2026 will be filled up with so many things concerning the new tax laws. Also, we're also looking for collaborations with other people. You can get through to us. We are always available. Dr. Ken has been immensely contributing to us, and also every other persons. Please, anytime, any day, we are always available. You can have my number 080-3700-1427. You can chat me up, you can call me, and we can take it up from there. Thank you very much, Mr. Bayode. We really, really appreciate this, and we look forward towards 2026 as we move towards this new NRS. Thank you very much, and have a blessed weekend. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my chairman, the vice chairman, the past chairman on the call, Mr. Kennedy. Thank you all for your time. Thank you, e-Transact, represented by Dr. Noja. It's nice to have you on board. And everybody that joined, we had about 85 at the moment. We're about 85 attendees on the call. Thank you very much for taking time to join. I believe strongly that we've been able to open up your horizon when it comes to what the opportunities are as regard to e-invoicing. I'm doing a lot around the area of technology that relates to the new tax law, building technologies and building solutions around it, basically from the standpoint of an accountant and a tax practitioner. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I do share a lot of my thoughts when it comes to issues, especially when it comes to applications of some of these laws and how technology actually do merge with it. My name is Olubayode Agbi. You can check me on all the platforms, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and everywhere. And you can also follow Pillarcraft Accounting on all those platforms. or BioDIB and Co on all those platforms. It will be nice to engage with anybody or anyone that's interested in this. And I will also say, look forward to the partnership between FCT Tax Practitioner and Pillarcraft as we try to ensure that we place the tax practitioners in their rightful roles as advisory when it comes to tech matters relating to the new tax law. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your time. Hope we see you next time we have a forum such as this, and I'm sure it will come very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Thank you very much.